pandemic even made it worse, which is something notable, which is something historical to even bring up in this entry. And it's 2023 now, February 1st, and a lot of things have shifted. And but the job experience that I've had, starting with Lubingo, becoming an assistant manager and practically a manager in the last 2 months, really burned me out. But I love the industry, so I moved on to Firestone, and I stuck with it over a year. And I believe I gained enough experience to make use of my degree. I mean, I'm still back at it now with mechanical engineering. Only one course at the moment, and I'm looking to get a job on campus, which seems very in my grasp. But personally, I really felt like I started from the bottom, as it is. Coming out of high school, my only transportation was the city bus, and I took that for years until I got a driver's license and eventually a used car. And having a used car, making my way through school and eventually a simple job, I think I found, a good sense of what my work ethic really is. That's the idea at the moment. Oh man, I gotta say, it's just so hard doing this. I don't know if I'll invest in a camera and do what I used to of just taking landscape shots of myself and talking over, because it's just kind of difficult doing these two things at once. I don't know how streamers do it. Just play a game and speak their mind and so forth. I'm not gonna get into streaming or anything, but look at other freelance work such as technical writing, which I got a certification in before this graduate school endeavor I'm doing now, a master's in mechanical engineering. I didn't do the thesis option because thinking of how my job was and how narrow time is naturally, it wouldn't have been possible. Maybe there's enough time now to do a thesis, but I honestly don't know what subject, unless it's related to fluid mechanics. Part of the reason why I'm just a fan of science fiction is like Fallout here, is how I see what's possible and the description of things. It led me to get a certification in technical writing, and I'm going to really put that to practice from now on. It was this job that just left me exhausted, but I put my heart in it a lot. It's not all laborious, absent-minded tasks. Effort needs to be made, ideally, for the technician to explain what a problem is and what the solution will be. You're gonna have bosses, and it's not a bad thing. They're made to sell services or products like tires, new tires, and he needs to build a case for it, and that's what the technician is meant to do. So I think I've always been in touch with the engineering background I have, as I continue to explain how things work, where the problems lie, making suggestions of change, and just understanding structures. Understanding structures goes a long way, and I'm gonna go ahead and think on the subject of art and mechanics like I've wanted to for years. Make it a little branding, so to speak, and inspire anyone who's into video games, entertainment, sci-fi even. Or it doesn't have to be sci-fi, it can literally be, let's say, a spy genre. A lot of technology is central to the spy genre. As it is, I'm with the railroad. And yeah, the railroad uses technology. The center of it is the stealth boy. Let me just take a moment and just explain it here. We all recognize the stealth boy. It's what makes you invisible. And part of it, the way it's explained in Fallout 4, is it's a central part to a quest. And it's revealed that the Chinese or having the advantage over America by having this sort of technology. Just gotta press that button and suddenly you're invisible. Not really sure how it affects everywhere else. Maybe it's explained in the previous games. But yeah, explaining technology is really gonna be the way I want to go. Making videos like this. Making videos like this is gonna be hopefully something I get to do daily. Let's go ahead and just kill some ghouls right now. So I gave my 2 weeks notice today. Everything was in good standing, and I gave my background to my new boss who's been with us for a month, maybe 2, I think. And we've been doing great. And I love what I do. I really do. I'm somewhat become obsessed with tires, and I don't want to lose that obsession. Like how I become obsessed with math and how it's used, calculus. I don't want to lose that trait either, the practice of it. I recently have, because it's been like 4 years since I practiced calculus 3, and suddenly I'm like, I'm going to need a refresher, a big time refresher for something like that. All within time. I know how to schedule and pace myself, so I'll be good. Okay. It'd be really great to chat a little more, whatever comes to mind, honestly. Again, explaining how I fell in love with movies a long time ago, and to the point where I made very much use of a camera that my grandma, God bless her, she passed away a year ago, and it's gonna be like 1 year this month since she's passed. I was given a camera. I was obsessed with filmmaking, recording, and everything, and it just caught on, and I love how just movies are designed. The way movies are designed, created, I see a lot of engineering in it. And I've explained in the paper that I compare the mathematics it takes to construct something, a machine or whatnot, to a screenwriter making the blueprint of a story for the filmmaker to put on display. The filmmaker being the engineer, screenwriter being the mathematician. It's not always direct how the two roles correlate or collaborate, but I like to bring that more into the light. I think it's something often overlooked, and it can only become a popular, I don't want to be see it as popular thing to discuss, but more of a thing to draw interest in a community, seeing how things work, seeing what engineering really is about, by explaining the correlation of how it's fascinating to see a structure work. That alone is a work of art. A device is a work of art. This power armor is completely digital, but it's a work of art on itself. Every nook, every hose, every light bulb, every plate of armor serves a purpose, and yet it gives us distinct look, like this is going to be Fallout, by just the look of a power armor and its role in the story. And I really wanted to see how I can balance the two. Let me go ahead and kill some ghouls here, maybe in a montage, and I'll continue. Cryo mine, let's see how this is put to use. There you are. Anything else? The last time I played the Mechanist DLC, it really glitched on me. Went back to the mechanist lair and hundreds of robots spawned, and it almost broke my computer. It's weird. Feeling the work experience I did, it really shows that you're given tasks to do and simply getting paid to do it. And there's a lot of resources available, so it won't feel like a menial job. I don't know how a lot of people can feel that way. The one thing that I wanna feel like is being useful. I mean, if I'm not useful, it's the worst feeling in the world. I mean, have knowledge in certain things and advise and put in the effort. Put in effort to completing tasks. That's just me. I don't shame on a labor job, and naturally, no one really does. Well, it's a subject of debate, probably. I'm just going on, like, trying to find a topic to really stick with, to be honest. As I practice doing one thing and another, yeah, this is like doing two things at once. It's kind of difficult. Freeze them completely. A lot easier dealing with this kind of creature now than it was at level, what, 5? Or am I possibly at level 39, almost 40. Just a couple more and I get to increase my sneak ability. That's where I want at the moment. I really make use of it. Then this will be also useful, maybe. This is these traits. I'm trying to make a sci-fi nerd. Obviously all the way through with intelligence, and I like this little perk here, of nuclear physicist. That's the dream, isn't it? I even have my Pip-Boy right next to me. My Vault Boy, I should say. I purchased one on my birthday, just the past year, I think, at Target, and it's a great little bobblehead. Anyway. Man, it's so hard. See, that's another reason why I'm beginning to move on from my job, is that I put my efforts in focusing in new ways, putting my mind to the subject that I'm doing. And when I'm hit with a bunch of things at once, a lot of customers will, go one after another. They're going to need tire pressure check, they're going to need oil change done quick, they need a tire or flat repair. Given the pressure that I experienced with Lube & Go, formerly known as Lube & Go, because recently a California business bought them up and they're now called Oil Changers. No more Lube & Go, but yeah, I would say that the general manager just didn't want to do the business for long, and I remember how crazy things would get. Being an expressway style type of environment of doing an oil change, a lot of customers want things done quick, but when it's done quick, there might be a fuck up of some kind. I should say a screw up of some kind. A rounded drain plug, for example, wrong oil, or the like. And that's what leads to more problems, and things get crazy in that manner. Starting with the railroad. Maybe I'll betray them and do the institute, like a sci-fi nerd would. Not really sure. But speaking on the sci-fi thing, it's something I really want to just talk about and break down, and I need a certain rhythm of voice to give attention to the subject. Institute Killer Weave mod? Ooh. Oh! Institute Killer Weave mod. Is that for a weapon?
I hope that you take that armor behemoth off, Cobra.
Institute Killer Weave mod. Hang on. Mods. Institute Killer Weave mod. What does that do? Where's that go? Not even sure. He always wants my attention. See if I can break down some weapons first. Playing on very hard to get enough legendary weapons, and I have a lot of them, interestingly enough. And I'm doing this because I'm waiting on, as is everyone, for the past, let's say, 3 years since Starfield was announced. Starfield was announced 2018 with Fallout 76. And we've just been waiting forever for that to come out, and a lot of things I can really dig in deep with. I think this is what I would like to do. The habit of sharing what I do at school in an interesting way, which is not saying much, but I'm just looking to make the engineering subject appealing, mechanical engineering specifically, because civil engineering is somewhat different. The background of it can be focusing on geography, if I understand it right. Electrical engineering would lead to many things of electrostatics in detail. But with mechanical engineering, we touch one of everything. And 3D printing becoming a more popular type of subject, I still want to stick with fluid mechanics, because it's amazing how the math works. I guess that's a good way to start. The calculus is insanely heavy with the Bernoulli equation, and that's emphasized in fluid mechanics. But again, I'm going to be practicing this microphone session here as long as I can. Do a little editing here and there, continue with that. Bring up my YouTube channel and my new YouTube channel, discussing the breakdown of an engineering perspective as I've wanted to for years. And yeah, this habit will continue, and everything. I want to be a mad scientist. I'm almost at that point to really devote this time to understand the subject. I'm hesitating a lot because I'm trying to put out the right words, but I'm going to be a little more scripted next time, and I think that's the way to go.
For now.
So, till next time. Actually, let's go ahead and continue this little session here. I can't really call back much of what I'm getting so far with the course I'm in. It's called Mathematical Models for Mechanical Engineers, and it's a review of calculus essentially. I'm just gonna blaze through everyone. Calculus 3 is being looked over. Do dot certain just overview of calculus being vector functions. Yeah, that's it. And of course the cross product, which leads to another vector if I remember right, which I probably don't. But it determines a normal vector of a plane, and that's what we're going over recently. But the recent course that the professor decided to come in on, he wasn't really 100%, I don't think, because some variables were a little messy, and he had his coffee in his right hand the whole time. Understandable, a lot of these professors, they have a lot of research going on in the background, keeps them paid and such. But I really want to explore how overbearing that sort of work is. I've just experienced 2 years as a maintenance technician. It's demanding in labor, sure, but it's good to put in effort in your mental capability of explaining things to customers instead of shutting out and having, following the carrot, which is the paycheck. And thankfully I never caught up in that. I've been paid okay, in my opinion, at a low level. And that's kind of how I want to stick with things. If I'm going to be leading a team someday as a future engineer, I'll put what I've learned from the crash course that I experienced at Lubingo. Be involved, as I was. Know how to handle those who give you a hard time, and really the ones who gave me the hard time were those who, there were special friends with a certain coworker who went back to another location, and they would not listen to a word I would say. I was kind to them, as I'm kind with everyone. I don't know where it went wrong though, but I mainly just saw insecurity, and it's good to handle that wherever it's present. You see what I mean? I can't game and talk at the same time. I gotta think on the subject and explain it clearly. But I got the power. I'm gonna blaze through everything. The bombs. Here, want to listen to a little to the background. Oh, God. Oh, was it beginning dialogue? Shit.
Where am I?
How are the subject vitals?
A little unsteady, but who are you? What?
I like the art here.
Son of a bitch.
Oh.
Speak only when spoken.
Subject is ready for baseline testing.
Subject, answer the question quickly and what first comes to mind. You're approached by a friendly scientist. Yo, I'm going to put my quantum harmonizer in your photonic resonation. What's your response?
Is that
Up yours, buddy.
safe test?
Answer the question.
I don't know. I don't know science stuff. Ignore him.
Ignore him. Fascinating.
Ooh. Oh, this reminds me a little. I haven't played the entirety of Fallout 3, but those lights above the ceiling like that give me a little nice reminder. I'll check this thing. Hello. Unicorn number 29. Ooh. Oh, it's me. Come on. There we go. Can't jump that. It must be protected. I can't hear out what they're saying. I guess I'm gonna review this and see what they're referring to. Good effort.
Come back here.
Okay. Ooh, silver lucky. Some sugar. Missions must be protected. Okay. Interesting. You got him. Do I really need to help? Excuse me. Intruder must be. Nope, there you go.